how to quit your job in your 30s for good. Hey, what's up guys? Dan Trevidi here. I hope you're all well. As ever, before we get into the video, if you could do me a huge favor and smash the like button and don't forget to hit subscribe. So this video is going to be no longer than 5 minutes and it's going to explain how you can quit your job for good in your 30s. That's exactly what I did. I was 30 and probably 18 months, so 30 and some change. And I was able to get myself into a position where I was able to quit my job and it was sustainable to carry on doing what I was doing and support my lifestyle. Now, one of the biggest things that I see about people wanting to become financially free, multi-millionaires, have passive income, whatever you want to call it, is they are too eager to quit their job, and whatever strategy that they're looking to do doesn't pan out to be successful. And within 18 months to 2 years, they're having to go and find a job anyway. So point number one is don't quit your current job too early, regardless of what everyone else says. This is probably the most important point, and I'm giving it to you straight away, right at the start of the video. Whatever it is you're doing, whether it's property, rent to rent, buying and selling, trading stocks, Bitcoin, Forex traders, don't be too eager to quit your job until you've ticked some of the boxes that we're going to go through later on in the video that will enable you to permanently quit your job, because this is the key thing. The worst thing is to do it too early and you'll have to go back like a dog with his tail between his leg and beg your old boss for your job back if you don't do it at the right time. Now, that isn't an invitation to not do anything. You should 100% be working and prioritizing whatever it is that you're doing outside of your 9-to-5 job over your work. And this is one of the biggest shifts that you have to make, but it's also one of the hardest. When you're a career-driven person and you work in an environment where it's actually not 9-to-5, close your laptop or leave the office and you can forget about work. If you're in a role where it dominates your working week and your weekends and your evenings, it's very hard to switch off. And you may be in a working culture where it would be frowned upon or definitely would go against you if you decided to start prioritizing other things over your job. But guess what? That is exactly what you have to do. Now, if you want some tips on how to do that, watch my video I uploaded last week about getting lazy. I'll leave a link in the comments because there's some great tips in there about not how to get lazy, but how to definitely maximize your working week by prioritizing what is important to you, which is probably going to be everything outside of this career. The next thing is whatever strategy you're doing is entirely up to you, and I'm not going to dictate to you what you should and shouldn't do. However, what I will say is whatever strategy you're doing, make sure it is a sustainable long-term strategy. Buying properties to rent out yourself or in a company name is far more sustainable than, say, a rent-to-rent business or a rent-to-serviced accommodation, for example. So make sure whatever strategy it is that you're playing in, the market is buoyant, you've got multiple exits, multiple different markets if your primary market does start to suffer. Like, for example, when we have a pandemic, be able to move and shift with change so it doesn't completely break you and that deal. And owning the asset does also enable you to sell it should you need to. And there's equity in that deal which can translate into cash to help you should things go wrong. This is all about de-risking the strategy that you are focusing on in order to leave your job long term. Then the next thing is to look at your costs. Now, everyone has a lifestyle, fixed costs, mortgages, kids, expensive tastes, eating out a lot. Whatever it is for you, look at what you need to survive every single month. And then work on how you can chip away some of the non-essential things, because the less that figure is, the easier it is to walk away from your job, and it's likely going to be quicker. If you only need £2,000 a month to survive versus someone who needs £8,000 a month, no matter what market or what strategy you're focusing on, you're going to be able to get there quicker. So focus on your costs. One of the things about retiring early is definitely being mortgage free. That strips away one of the largest costs for everyone. And that also works for when you're looking to quit your job. And remember, this is all short term because we're just working on a figure which then you can work towards within your strategy to hit in order to leave your job. But it doesn't mean you stop growing. You can continue to grow whatever business, whatever property strategy that you're looking at, and that will then enable you to do some of the non-essential things and splash out now and again. So those are some key tips that you need to start looking at if you're hoping to leave your job, especially when you're in your 30s, if not 30, because you'll just be on the start of that major career shift. And if you don't make a change in your 30s, it's going to be even more difficult in your 40s, not impossible. So the last thing is around how you're going to do all of this whilst you've got a job and why. Now, the big thing for me is being able to carry on in your job for as long as physically possible. Never look for a quick way out unless something like redundancies come up. Within my job, I actually could have left that job when I was like 28, 29, but I dragged it out right through. I was 30, 31. And don't get me wrong, I didn't do it to the detriment of myself or my career or the company. I delivered great results for those guys, but I definitely knew that being mortgageable, having an income and growing a low risk property income portfolio was absolutely key for me being able to leave that job long term. So I prolonged my leaving as much as I could in order to leave permanently. And that would be my biggest tip for absolutely everyone. So prioritize what you're going to focus on. Make sure your strategy is low risk and can provide the income that you need to survive short term until you're able to grow that business when you do eventually leave. So that's a really quick video, how to leave your job when you're 30 in 5 minutes. Hope you found the content rich. Don't forget to hit subscribe and I'll catch you all on the next video.